My fiancée was sent an NFSW video of me and I need advice. I am a 24-year-old woman, and I've been with my fiancé who is 29 for 4 years. We've been planning our wedding, which is set for this November. Everything seemed to be going well until recently when something completely unexpected happened that has turned our relationship upside down. I don't know exactly when it happened, but it must have been very recently. Someone anonymously sent my fiancé a direct message on Instagram. The message contained a video of me from before we even met, long before we knew each other. It's an embarrassing and deeply personal video, and without going into too much detail, it shows me in an intimate situation with 3 men. There's no denying that it's me in the video, as it's very obvious and unmistakable. The Instagram account that sent the video was anonymous, and so far, I haven't been able to gather any information about who might have sent it or why. All I know is that this video has caused a significant rift between us. When we first started dating, my fiancé and I never really delved deeply into conversations about our past relationships or sexual experiences. I knew that I was his first girlfriend, and he knew that I had been in relationships before him. However, I never mentioned this particular incident because, at the time, I didn't think it was relevant or necessary to bring up. On Monday he confronted me about the video. He was clearly upset and it was a difficult conversation. Since then he has moved out of our shared apartment and is currently staying with a friend. He said he needed some time and space to think things through. During the confrontation he directly asked me how many men I had slept with in the past. I chose to be completely honest with him and told him the truth, that the number was 8. He also asked if I had ever cheated on him and I told him no, which is absolutely true. I've never even considered cheating on him. This situation has been incredibly painful and stressful for both of us. I've been trying to process everything and figure out how to address it, but I don't know where to start. He hasn't said much since he left and I don't know what's going through his mind. I feel terrible about the whole situation, but I also don't know how to move forward from here. Honestly, I was and still am deeply hurt by how my fiancé reacted to this situation. I've always been faithful to him, and I am genuinely and wholeheartedly in love with him. His reaction, while I understand it may have come from a place of shock or hurt, has left me feeling incredibly misunderstood and unfairly judged. During our confrontation, he expressed doubts about my intentions in our relationship, even going so far as to suggest that I might be using him because of his high salary. That accusation cut me deeply because it couldn't be further from the truth. My love and commitment to him have always been genuine, and I tried my best to explain that to him. I don't know if he truly believes me though, which adds another layer of pain to an already difficult situation. The video that was sent to him is from a time in my life when I was going through a very tough and confusing period. I've grown and changed a lot since then, and while I fully acknowledge that recording the video was a bad decision, it's not something I can undo now. I've worked hard to move past that chapter of my life, and I never thought it would resurface like this. What worries me the most is the possibility that he might break up with me over this. Our wedding is just a couple of months away, and this was supposed to be one of the happiest times of our lives. Now, everything feels uncertain and fragile. I truly don't know how to navigate this situation or how to move forward. I feel like I've tried to be honest and open with him, but I don't know if that's enough to repair the trust and love we've built over the past 4 years. I would really appreciate advice from anyone who has experienced something similar or who has insight into how to handle a situation like this. She posted an update. It has been a while since I last posted, but given the overwhelming number of comments and feedback I received, I thought it would be a good idea to provide an update. For those who didn't see the original post, I've linked it below, but here's a brief refresher. My fiancé and I had been together for 4 years and were planning our wedding for this November. However, he was recently sent a very graphic video of me from before we even met, and it ultimately led to him breaking up with me. Since my original post, we've had a few conversations, but unfortunately, none of them really went anywhere productive. Each time we spoke, it felt like we were going in circles. He told me that he didn't think he could spend the rest of his life with someone who had done something like I did in the video. I tried my best to explain to him that it was a mistake from a very different time in my life, long before I even knew he existed. I emphasized that it was something I deeply regret and would never even consider doing again, but it didn't seem to matter much to him. It was clear that he had made up his mind. He seemed unable to separate the person I am now from the person I was back then. While I understand that he has every right to make decisions about his own life and what he's comfortable with, it's been absolutely devastating for me. I was, and still am, crazy in love with him. To have everything we built together fall apart over something that happened years ago, before we even knew each other, feels incredibly unfair and heartbreaking. The breakup has left me feeling a mix of emotions, grief, anger, confusion, and sadness. I've been questioning myself constantly, wondering if there was something more I could have done or said to change his mind. But at the same time, I know I can't force someone to stay with me if they feel they can't move past this. It's hard to come to terms with the fact that our relationship, which I thought was solid and headed for a lifelong commitment, is over. The wedding plans, the future we had envisioned together, all of it is gone now. I've been trying to focus on healing and moving forward, but it's a slow and painful process. For anyone reading this, I'd love to hear advice on how to move on from something like this or how to rebuild my confidence and self-worth after such a difficult experience. Thank you to everyone who commented on my original post and provided support, even if some of it was hard to hear. So I guess pretty short update. I haven't talked to him for about a month because there's really nothing else to say to him, I guess. A lot of people had asked me to post an update at the time of the original post, and I guess I was just getting around to it now. She posted an update again. I posted about this situation a while ago when it was still happening, but I guess I never found this subreddit, so I wanted to post here too to get some perspective. About 5 months ago, an anonymous Instagram account sent my ex-fiancé a very explicit video of me that was taken before I even knew him, and it ended up causing him to break up with me. Since that initial breakup, we've had some back and forth discussions, but recently I think it's officially over, and I'm really struggling with what to do next. I've been trying my best to understand his point of view. I can't deny that it must have been incredibly difficult for him to see something like that, especially since he never knew about it before. I can understand how someone wouldn't want to see someone they love in that kind of context, and it must have been a huge shock to him. But at the same time, I also feel like I'm a victim here. I never wanted that video to be shared, and I certainly never expected it to come back to haunt me years later. I also feel hurt and disappointed that he didn't defend me or stand by me when it came to how the video was used against me. I know it was hard for him, but it feels like he just took the video at face value without understanding the context of it, how it was from a time in my life before I even knew him and how much I regret it. Throughout our discussions, he said that he simply can't see himself spending the rest of his life with me after seeing the video. He feels like I misled him by not bringing up something like that when we first started dating. I've tried to explain to him that I didn't hide it on purpose or lie to him. It's just that the topic never came up in conversation. It's not something I'd just casually drop into a conversation, and I didn't think it was necessary to bring it up. I wasn't hiding my past from him, I just didn't think it was something he needed to know. I realize now that maybe I should have mentioned it at some point, but it wasn't like I was intentionally keeping it a secret. I thought we were building a relationship based on trust, love, and mutual respect, and I never thought something from my past would come back to affect us in such a huge way. I'm not sure what I should have done differently. Maybe if I had mentioned it sooner, he wouldn't have felt misled. But at the same time, I also feel like the situation is unfair because it was something that happened before we even met. I made a mistake back then, but I've grown and changed since then, and I've never had any desire to repeat that mistake. I've been nothing but faithful to him, and I was deeply in love with him. It's hard for me to accept that something from my past, something I've learned from and regret, has completely destroyed our future. I feel stuck in this limbo now. I understand his feelings, but I also feel like my side of the story and the hurt I've experienced has been overlooked. I'm devastated by how everything unfolded, and I'm unsure how to move forward. It feels like there's no way to fix this, and it's difficult to let go of the relationship that I thought was going to be my future. I'm hoping to hear some advice from others who may have gone through something similar, or who can offer perspective on how to navigate this situation. How do you move on from something like this when the person you love has decided they can't see a future with you over something that happened in the past? And how do you process the hurt and betrayal of feeling like you've been misunderstood or not supported in such a vulnerable situation? I know it sounds cliché or maybe even a bit dramatic, but I truly feel like he was the one for me, and now that it's over, I just can't see any way forward with him anymore. I'm struggling to accept that, but I feel like there's no chance for us now. Since everything happened, he pretty much shut me out. I've tried reaching out and we managed to have some conversations after the incident, but those have dwindled and eventually stopped altogether. It's like he's just completely disconnected from me, and no matter how much I've tried, I don't think there's any way back from this. It feels like he's made up his mind and there's nothing I can do to change it. I tried to do something about the video being sent. I thought maybe if I pursued legal action or something, it might show him how serious I was about this situation and maybe even help him see that I didn't deserve what happened. He was somewhat helpful with that, or at least he didn't oppose me trying, but even then I could tell he was already emotionally checked out. I kept hoping that maybe this pursuit would spark something in him. Maybe he'd see that I wasn't trying to hide or deny my past, that I was genuinely hurt by what happened, and that I was trying to fix things. But it didn't work. He just stayed distant, and I'm not sure he ever fully understood how much I was struggling with everything. As for the legal action, I didn't really have much to go on. The video was deleted almost immediately after it was sent, and since it was shared anonymously, there wasn't much I could do to track down who sent it. My lawyer basically told me that without solid evidence or any way to trace the person who sent it, there wasn't really a case to pursue. So that was that. I feel like I've tried everything I could, but it's all been in vain. The video was something I couldn't undo, and now it feels like it's cost me the relationship I valued the most. I keep going over everything in my head, wondering if there was something more I could have done to prevent this, or if I should have acted differently. But at the end of the day, I know it's out of my control. I just didn't expect that something from my past would come back to destroy everything. I'm heartbroken and I feel so lost. It's hard to accept that someone who meant so much to me is now out of my life, and I don't know if I'll ever get over the pain of losing him. I guess now I'm left with the aftermath, trying to process everything and figure out how to move on. But it's tough when you feel like you've lost the person you thought you'd spend the rest of your life with. I guess I feel like I'm rambling, but I feel totally lost right now and could use any advice anyone on here would be willing to give. This is the first real breakup I've had, and I get things get better with time, I guess, but I'm just having a hard time accepting it's over right now. Let's read some comments. First comment was, "But it did." Mistakes are often only known in hindsight, usually when the mistake backfires. You engaged in those consensual acts for reasons only known to you, but probably because you wanted to and seemed like a good idea at the time. But the elastic band of consequences always snaps back, and it looks like it did, however many years later, come back to bite you. Had your fiancé found the video hot instead of repulsive, you probably wouldn't be here in this predicament and probably would not have chalked that experience up to a mistake that you wish didn't happen. I honestly don't know what to tell you. Your ex-fiancé is just that now. I think it's better you come to terms with how things in our past are almost never completely escapable. And for the love of Mormon Buddha, if you record your sexual escapades, be fully prepared to find it on the internet in some capacity. I assign no moral value judgments whatsoever to the reason for your relationship's dissolution. But I completely understand where your ex is coming from. That would personally be some devastating and traumatizing shit to lay eyes on. That would be forever seared into my retinas. Certain things when said or done can never be unsaid or undone, no matter how much we all wish we could turn the clock back. Maybe flesh out how all this makes you feel with a licensed professional. I wish you well. Second comment was, "It really doesn't have to, why know that, right? There's no scarlet letter tattooed on your forehead, permanently branding you with the finer details of your past. In future, maybe lean into it instead of lying by omission. Be totally upfront and transparent about your history the next time you're in a dating or relationship phase where past partners or body counts, ugh, I hate that term, are mentioned. Only thing you can do now is own it. Without shame. Reclaim the narrative. Yeah, it happened, it is what it is. However they respond will let you know whether or not it's a deal breaker, and you'll be able to gauge their sentiments and build a potential life together on a clear, solid foundation instead of one mired in secrecy and uncertainty. It's a part of your life experience now. Whether it will inform the success of future relationships is rooted in it being a known truth rather than an embarrassing, unspeakable taboo that you'd rather memory hole. I wouldn't slink away from that past, just confront it head on whenever it rears its head. As an adult. Edit. Comments are locked so can't respond to new replies. OP, you're going to feel shitty for a while. How long that is will be determined by how much you let your past affect your present, and now your future. I still say own it. Because the alternative is dishonesty, and that's no basis to found a new or even a lasting relationship on. Third comment was, just want to say the other comments here are gross and pearl-clutching by implying that it's somehow dirty or wrong for a woman to enjoy pleasure with multiple other consenting adults. My partner knows that I have had sexual experiences before him that he himself isn't interested in trying, and he's happy for me that I got to explore that facet of myself in a safe and consenting way. And if he got this video, the very first thing he would do would be to check if I'm okay and comfort me in this violation of privacy, just as I would be thinking about him first if the roles were reversed. You're ultimately the victim of illegal revenge porn sharing here. You did absolutely nothing wrong by having sex with these other men, and a partner that prioritized caring about you over their own ego would not punish you for it, even if they expressed vulnerability in telling you that it was something that made them uncomfortable to see. It sucks that the video was sent to them, it sucks that they are choosing to punish you for receiving it, honestly a big red flag that would make me revisit if I want to marry them, and it sucks that Reddit is being weird about it now, but you didn't do anything wrong there. The one place to reflect on your own responsibility is that you never spoke about your sexual past with your partner, so this could be seen as lie by omission. But if your partner never asked, they aren't owed the information. At the same time, I can't imagine marrying someone I don't feel totally comfortable sharing my past with. I totally get why you didn't given his reaction, but again, that's a warning sign here that maybe this person isn't the great, understanding, accepting partner you think they are. Fourth comment was, you had a foursome, I guess, with 3 men and someone recorded it. Or a tripod was used. One of the people in that room sent the video. Who else would have it? Who else would want it? Unless it was posted on a porn website, then, I guess, anyone can see it. It was naive of you to think it would just go away because you regretted it. But that's neither here nor there now. Whoever sent the video to your ex has a vendetta against you. They were jealous of you or wanting to get back at you for something. Their goal was to destroy your happiness and ruin your life, and they succeeded. Who do you know that hates you that much? Be honest with yourself. I don't think I hate anyone that much. Who have you wronged? Who has a reason to want to get back at you? Think about the 3 or 4 other people in that room when you did what you did. Or was it more than 4? Was there an audience? Could multiple people have recorded what you did? Which one of them hates you so much that they would take the time to destroy your life? It's over with your ex. But you have a future, there's a video you regret, and there is someone out there with you in their crosshairs. It's important that you try to figure out who did this to you. Not to get them into trouble with the law, but so you don't have to live the rest of your life waiting for them to send it to your next boyfriend or your boss or your dad or your landlord, etc., etc. Hope you never plan to run for office. Frankly, I'd be worried that there is someone out there in the world who despises me that much.